Welcome to this webinar where we're talking about how to achieve business success with me, Mark Shields, aka the CAM Coach, specifically recorded for BANT members. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I'll give you a brief history into the CAM Coach. I'm a co-author of the book The CAM Coach, written in 2012 with Simon Martin, the editor of the CAM magazine. The CAM Coach came about because research back in 2012 evidenced that many nutritional therapists were going through university and coming out but not going into private practice. 65% of graduates did not make it into private practice after finishing their nutritional degree. And of those that did, 20% more CAM businesses failed in their first year than in any other industry. So that told us nutritional therapists had lots of enthusiasm and academia, but limited or no business skills. So since the launch of the book back in 2012, I have mentored hundreds of nutritional therapists over the last 12 years, and today we are going to share with you the top tips and best practices learned from all of those mentoring and success sessions. So what I'm going to show you today and share with you today actually works. It comes from the models of nutritional therapists and business models that are proven to work today. And we've divided it into 11 top tips. And I've done this deliberately to give you as much information as I possibly can in the time that we have. So as you read the screen, we start by researching your market. We look at what modelling means and how you model success. We look at the importance of competitor analysis. We look at the importance of the business plan and having written goals and actions. Today the website is a massive requirement if you're going into private practice. So we look at that, we look at the search engine optimization, SEO, and we also look at Google AdWords, a paid form of search engine optimization. We look at social media marketing and the success strategies used today by many nutritional therapists, and we look at joint ventures that actually work. We look at ways to proactively drive income by doing things every day, so much so they become good habits to always have some proactive income driving activity. We look at the benefit of having a mentor, and if not, perhaps teaming up with somebody that you can work with to help each other objectively, for those of you that can't afford or find the right mentor. We look at the lifeblood of our business, which is attracting and retaining quality clients. And finally, we look at the practitioner themselves and how we unlock our full potential to get the best possible results we can get. Okay, so let's begin by looking at researching your market. The first thing to do when thinking about marketing your business, the very first thing is to visualize who is your ideal client. What market are you looking to penetrate? What type of client are you looking to work with? Where does that client live? What does that client do in their spare time? What sort of income and age are those clients? And you'll see a link here which will enable you to look at areas which give you all the information you need, marketing information you need to search for various groups and types of people. Very importantly, when you're looking for your ideal client, how do they buy? Is it online? Is it in the high street? In a clinic? What type of service does that client want from you? Does your premises, the way you present yourself to your client, match your client's expectations? So this is really, really important. The first thing is, who is your ideal client, and work it back from there. Work it back from there, not the other way around. Often people do. Okay, moving on to modelling. What does modelling mean? There's a definition of modelling here for you. It is the process of recreating and replicating excellence. So modelling actually comes from the world of NLP, psychology. And what it really means is that find a model, so in your case, a nutritional therapist, a nutritionist, maybe a nutritional therapy clinic that works. Something that you can model, not necessarily copy, because when you model another business, you look at all aspects of it. So you look at the application of the nutritional therapists themselves and how they work successfully within that clinic. What is it about that clinic that makes it so successful? Is it the way they present themselves in their website? Is it their pricing? Is it their determination, resilience, and their attitude to getting business and taking their business forward? Attitude will get you moving, but you will not get results. You need a methodology. So you can be the most enthusiastic person in the world, but unless you have a strategy, a methodology, it's not enough. And I always say to nutritional therapists, always work a proven business model. Don't reinvent the wheel. Find out what works and model it. Whenever you're modelling, you are looking at the physical and emotional behaviour of the person or business that you're modelling, not just the physical. A lot of success comes from the way people apply themselves in business. Their thinking, what they do, how driven they are. Successful people love to talk about their success, so they will be happy to share their success with you. So to summarise, always model success. Model a proven business model. Don't be subjective. Okay? It's really important today with competitors. So as we progress throughout the millennium years, there are more and more competitors popping up, and you'll notice if you watch them and study them that they will come and go. And it's really important, I think, that you understand the competitors that are within your market. So where are they? What are they doing? Where are they based? Really importantly, what are they charging? You can even have a look at their website today and see what keywords they're using, what marketing phrases they're using. Where do they advertise? How busy are they? And all of these things, will they impact on your business? And if so, what are you going to do differently? And I think the message in this, when you're looking at competitor analysis, is have in the back of your mind that you're looking for perhaps 3 unique selling points that all of these competitors don't have. So something different over and above that you know will attract clients to you. So it's really important that you study the competitors within your area and you know exactly what they're doing so you can stay ahead of the competition. We're now going to come on to the business plan. Now this comes up many times every time we work with different people. Most people don't have a business plan. In fact, this slide confirms that 2% of people have business plans. So if you look at the definition for a moment, a business plan is a written document that describes in detail how a business is going to achieve its goals from a marketing, financial and operational perspective. And I always say to people, it's only an idea when it's in your head. When you put it down in writing, it becomes a plan. And by definition, the minute you have a plan, you are completely in control, on the front foot and moving forward, rather than having these ideas in your head. And it's actually been proven that you have 9 times more chance of achieving your goals if they're written down. So that's very important. Business plans are extremely important, and every successful nutritional therapist will now have them or should have. So let's have a look at it for a second. What should we have in the business plan? The first thing is what we call a business vision statement. But obviously, to have a business vision statement, you need a business vision. So you need to sit back and think about the vision you have for your business. How do you see your business? How do you want to be perceived by the outside world? What would you like to accomplish? Where do you see yourself in the future? And what is the positive impact on you and your family? Whenever we talk about outcomes and goals, it's important to take into consideration the people around us that will be affected by what we're doing. So that's very, very important. So the first thing on a business plan is your business vision statement. Secondly, number 2, it's your business goals. And they represent what your business wants to achieve, okay, over the short, medium and long term. Examples of which might be how much you want to earn, how many clients you want every week. And goals need to be reviewed, and they also need to be something called SMART, which you may well have heard of. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic with timescales. It's no good setting unrealistic goals without any time scales, things that you can't measure. People can become very deflated if the goals aren't realistic. So an example underneath would be, I want to have a presence in the 3 gyms in a 5-mile radius of my area by the 1st of January 2017. It's something I want for the business, it's a goal, and it is SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic with timescales. And thirdly, your business actions. So this is the what you are going to do. So we have the goal, we now have the action, business actions, and we need a maximum of 5 actions, SMART actions, to support each business goal. If we have more than that, it's too much for people, it gets confusing. So keep an absolute maximum of 5 actions. 3 is okay as long as it doesn't go above 5. And there's an example there. I will identify and arrange a meeting with all of the gym managers within a 5-mile radius of my area by November 2016. That's a SMART action and should be included on the business plan. Number 4 for business plans. This might be new to some people, business forecasting. Now, business forecasting is really about sitting down, perhaps at the beginning of a financial year, perhaps at the beginning of a review period, and looking ahead and seriously thinking about what your business can deliver, how you're marketing your business, and what you expect in terms of business activity over the following perhaps 12 months. And actually committing yourself to a business forecast, a number that you think, perhaps if we're talking about earnings, it will be what you want to earn or number of clients. So here we've included in the business forecasting your offering and what it costs. What do you want your annual income to be? When you've got that number, how many clients you have to see every week to reach your annual income. And if you base it over 45 weeks, that tends to cater for holidays, illness and so forth. So a typical example, if you want to earn £20,000 and you divide it by 45 weeks to £100 per client, you need to see 4.5 clients per week. So it's very, very important. Lots of people initially can shy away from this, but I find once they get into it, it becomes a way of life to people. So moving on to websites and SEO. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And what I've done here is I've done my very best to ensure that I give you the information that is very relevant to all of you, so you can make changes very quickly. So I've picked on the top things, and some of the slides are a little busy because there's lots of information, but I'd rather have the information because you get a copy of the slide, so it's always a point of reference for you. So 95% of SEO, search engine optimization, is done on the home page. So if you have a 10-page website, 95% is done on the home page. So the home page is critical to get this right. Okay, so and we will show you how to do that as we progress through this webinar. So the home page on your website is where it all happens pretty much. And it's very simple to get this right. 78% of people will buy online. So I just want to be clear about this because there are so many ways to advertise. Nutritional therapists spend lots and lots and lots of money in various and different advertising forums, magazines. But online advertising, this is where most of our clients are going to find us and buy. Okay, so having a website and a good website presence is absolutely paramount to your success. So just to make it more difficult, when you've got your website and your homepage is SEO'd, the average time somebody spends on a website is 8 seconds. 8 seconds. So what they see on your website needs to be enough and satisfy what the client needs, so they take it further. So they perhaps look to contact you. Another very, very, very important point is websites grow and are ranked and scored on Google in a number of different ways. But if we keep it simple, the two main ways are through organic growth. So the more people that hit your website, the better. And website maturity, the age of the website. So the longer it's there, the more chance you've got of people finding you. With those two things in mind, just to add one third thing on, which is something called Google algorithms. Okay, Google algorithms. So it's important that we are always all up to date with what they are. And again, keeping that simple, this is really the template of Google for what they look for in any particular website. And that changes every year, every 2 years. So we have to be up to date with what that is so we can make sure we change our site accordingly. So at the moment, we happen to know that pop-ups, so when you go on a website and you get that little box pop up and asks you to put your name and email address in it, Google don't like those. Okay, this is very new. A year or so ago, there was these pop-ups were fine, but now you'll notice that more and more people are now not using those because they are too. A pop-up doesn't really represent the home page, and they also like today a mobile version of your website. So when they go on a mobile phone, a prospective client goes on a mobile phone, 65% of people now buy on a mobile phone. Your website needs to have a mobile version of it so it's user friendly, otherwise people won't be able to read the text. And finally, optimum word count on a home page. Once upon a time, this was very different, but today it's good. Google like to see 300 words. Okay, 300 words. And there is a link here. Check if your website is mobile friendly. You can do it by simply putting your name into that link and it will tell you if you are mobile friendly or not. So the more educational the website, the higher the ranking. The more articles you publish, the more educational material that you have on the site. Google like those things. So the higher the ranking. Another tip is mention what you do. So I'm a nutritional therapist, where you are, I'm in London, and what service you provide, working with clients with fatigue, weight loss, etc. And those three things, mention them twice on your home page. So that's what you do, where you are, and what you provide. Google really like that, and that will score your website very, very well. This is all known as organic SEO. This is all free. This is just understanding the importance of the home page and the website and making sure the content on that home page meets what Google are looking for. And if we go one step further, because I'm thinking that many sites you might not be able to change yourselves, it doesn't take very much to ask your website provider to make your website completely editable, which means you can change it at any time. And that will save you in website costs going forward, and it will show you exactly how to do these things in a very simple way yourself. So keep it simple on the site. They don't like scientific jargon. Keep it simple. In fact, a good tip is to imagine that you are writing a one-page essay with headings, subheadings and paragraphs, and a child needs to read it and understand it. Google will love that. Okay, so if you just keep it simple, no specific jargon. Obviously you need to follow the CAP code, the ASA, and not be breaking any of those rules, to be mindful of some of the words that you're using. For example, we obviously are unable to use the word treat on our websites, and many other words as well. So it's important to understand that. Very important to understand that. Something very simple, make use of headings 1, 2 and 3. Okay, if I just take you back to that moment ago when I said you're writing a one-page document using main headings, 1, 2 is subheadings and 3 is just paragraph, or a heading 3 on WordPress. The document will run fluidly and easy to understand, and just looks like a normal piece of work. That's what Google are looking for at the moment. They also like you to refresh, so change your website at least once a fortnight, because Google take a photograph of your website every couple of weeks and they score it. So the more change, more education, the more articles, the more blogs, different things on the home page, you'll build up a much bigger Google presence than if you left it as it was. Model success. So model success and investigate competitor keywords. Now you can do this. This isn't breaking any rules. This is quite accepted. So if you're wondering what keywords to use in your area and you want to know what works, you can right click on any website and it will tell you what keywords are working for that particular website. So that's part of the SEO process today, and you're allowed to do that without incurring any problems. And the final thing, if you to get into that top 5 or 6 place on Google, which takes time, but the big tip I can share with you is if you have your location and therapy in the URL of your website, you're going to have the potential to reach the very top of Google, even if that means changing the name. So for example, if you were to be a nutritional therapist in London, you might use the London Clinic of Nutritional Therapists. That would be a would run a very successful SEO performance on that site, and eventually that site has the potential to reach the very top of Google. If that's not possible for you, and it won't be for a number of you, then if you follow the advice I've given you on the home page, you will be able to get your website into the top 5. Okay, so here's a little bit more on website and SEO and algorithms. Okay, algorithms. So algorithms are Google's chosen way of auditing a website, and they look for certain things. Okay, they look for certain things. So on here, Hummingbird is a name given to a Google algorithm. So Hummingbird is paying more attention to each word in a query, ensuring that the whole query, the whole sentence or conversational meaning is taken into account rather than just the words. The goal is that pages matching the meaning do better rather than pages matching just a few words. So to give you an example of that, not too long ago, people were filling their home page with nutritional therapy in London, Hitchin, Stevenage, and maybe had 10 or 15 locations. But if you read the homepage of the site, it didn't really mean anything. So going back to that one-page presentation essay I talked to you about earlier, if it flows and makes sense with H1, 2 and 3 tags that you can see on this slide, that's exactly what they want. So rather than the old way, nutritional therapist in Hartford as your H1 tag, your H1 tag is your heading, your big heading. It would be sensible to say, as you can see in the orange, nutritional therapist, nutritional therapy. In Hitchin, Hertfordshire, welcome to Life Practice Nutrition. This is Karen's, an example from Karen's site, and that is her H1 tag, her main heading. It's now followed by a smaller heading, H2, which is smaller, and it tells the reader what it does. Our nutrition clinic offers a range of nutritional therapy programs, etc, etc, etc. So it's nice reading. It's like reading an essay, reading a description, reading a piece of work. And finally, we have where it's located. So it's always good to have the location in the H1, 2 and 3 tags. And here's just an example for you to see, because H1, 2 and 3 tags might not mean a lot to some people. So here they are for you to look at and understand. So if we look at this page, H1 is the great big orange letters at the top of the page. By the way, even a page has prime SEO spaces on it. And where the H1 tag is, nutritional therapist, nutritional therapy, you get about 5 words in the top left-hand side of your home page that attract a massive amount of that 95% we talked about earlier, which is why we have an H1 tag here. And the first word is nutritional therapist. Second word is nutritional therapy. If you look at both of those words, they are 2 of the biggest search terms ever looked for on Google. Okay. And we then have our location. H2, this makes more sense, I would think now. You look at the green, smaller tags with our programs, and then H3, even smaller still, where we are, and then into paragraph, even more. So this is just building on those 3 sets of H tags and gives a description. So if you read through that, that's a natural read, a natural flow, and anybody can understand it. So that's exactly what you need to do with your homepage, using H1, 2 and 3 tags in exactly the way you can see it there. And you can also see, looking at that page, that we have some links. If you look carefully, you can see links to the CNHC and to BANT. Now this is something else that Google like to see, links coming from your site to other sites, and even better if you can get a reciprocal link back from the CNHC and BANT to your site. This will assist with the overall score of the website, and once again be one of those things that help it up Google. Okay, another really good example to have on the home page is a way of collecting your client's name and email address. So creating a relationship with your client remotely. So building a database, and you do this by offering something free. So you can see on this slide, grab your free ebook. It's a lovely ebook you get if you fill in your name and address. It costs nothing. It's education, so Google love it. And we get to collect the name and email address, which means we can, with the client's permission, add this name to our newsletter. And once a month they might get a newsletter with health tips and so forth, and they start to become more aware of the nutrition clinic. So it's a very, very good way of gathering clients' details, building longer term relationships with clients, and getting busier. And I have to say, these days most people have something like this, and if you haven't, you probably perhaps need to look at that if you want to be competitive. So, designing your website. I'll start bottoms up on this slide actually. the golden rule is never use a friend. Okay? Everybody's got a friend that does websites. The fact is that your friend will, in my experience, will never finish your website. You're a friend, you're not quite as important as their clients. So you can do it yourself. It is a lot easier than you think it is. Certainly you can download a WordPress template and do it that way. There's a fantastic a company called Web Healer, so you can see that on the slide here, and they offer websites for about £50, and they do all the SEO for you, and you can pay a monthly fee of about £10. We used those when we first set out 12 years ago, and they're a great company. They're very fair, they help you, and they're great value for money, especially if you don't know very much about websites. Then these people take care of the whole thing for you. And the cost is £50, I believe, to set it up, and £10 a month. So it's very cheap. You could hire a designer, and if you do it that way, you would always make sure your website is editable, and that puts you in control of it. And once you learn how to make a couple of changes, it doesn't cost anything. And I know you'll be thinking, I can't do that, it's far too complicated. You'd be surprised how simple this really is. And by hiring a designer, you've got costs there from about £500 up to about £1,000. But I've got to say that if when it comes down to cost, Web Healer have a great value for money proposition. In fact, here they are. So you can see here what they do, and these are their details. And you can click on some of these, and you can actually, if you go into this, you can get an example of what websites, types of website Web Healer provide. Okay, looking at paid Google advertising. So this is a little bit more advanced than what we've talked about in terms of homepage SEO. Okay, but you can run what we call a Google AdWords campaign, which is about paying a cost for every time somebody clicks onto your website. You can watch videos how to set this up. You can Google now offer telephone consultations to help you set this up for free. Always remember they're a business, and be very, very strict about the money that you intend to spend on this. But the good thing is that you can get your site to the top of Google immediately by sponsoring a pay-per-click advert. Okay, there's no minimum spend, you're in complete control. It's brilliant for new businesses and new websites, attracts clients from day one, and you can even target areas. So if you wanted to target London, or you wanted to target Birmingham, you can do that, and it's all reflected in the cost per click price. I would definitely recommend that you attend a Google AdWords course or a webinar, or certainly you download a PDF which explains exactly how it works. I've got an example here for you at the bottom. So the biggest word at the point of doing this, which was this month, nutritional therapy is the biggest keyword on Google. More people search for nutritional therapy than any other word. Okay, it's currently 25 pence per click. So if you have a £4 per day budget, which is £28 a week, around £100 a month, you're going to get 16 people that are interested in nutritional therapy looking at your website every day. So that's about 100 hits to your site a week, which is there is no other form of advertising that can do that for you for the same money. So just very quickly, if you're going to advertise in a magazine, you're going to pay £250 for a quarter page ad in a magazine. For £100 a month, you're going to get 100. I mean, in fact, more than those clicks. £16 a day. Okay, so and it's also good to run campaigns for long periods of time, and once you get on top of it, you can actually work out what every spend that you have, what you get back for it. So it's really very, very good advertising. Okay, so we're now into social media marketing, something that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. Now, these slides are very busy, but we've got some really interesting facts on all of them, and very relative to you and to have as a point of reference. So all of these slides will show you the age groups that each of these social media marketing tools are really effective with, how to use them, where to use them. Okay, so I'm just going to pick on a few things here. So we know that there's 65.1 million people in the UK that live here, and we know that 92.6% of those people use the internet. That's 92 out of 100. 38 million of those people are active on social media. So unless my maths is going crazy, I reckon that's about half, more than half. Okay, so if you don't use social media, you're going to be very disadvantaged. Out of those people, 80% of time spent on social media happens via a mobile phone. Okay, so most of it is done on mobile. So that's a lot of people. 38 million people actively use social media. Okay, so there are different social media platforms. We have Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, blogs, YouTube. The one thing about all of these things, they're all free. They're all free. Okay, you can pay to do different things with them, but you can advertise. So it's an absolute. Some of these things now are an absolute must if you're going to make a success of your business. Social media enables you to pinpoint your target more specifically, your target audience. It widens your audience to worldwide. Okay, so so it doesn't limit the people you can work with, because you can obviously work remotely now. Yellow pages are a thing of the past. So building your database prospects feeds very well into social media marketing. And for your local market, Twitter is extremely good. You can drive traffic to your website from social media, which obviously, as if we think backwards, footfall is good for the site, and it drives it up towards the top of Google. We recommend 15 minutes a day of social media activity, and you can use Buffer or Hootsuite, so that they basically allow you to multi-post. So you have one strategy, and you can post on all of the social media platforms via Buffer or Hootsuite. So let's just have a brief look at Facebook demographics. Facebook is really popular. Okay, so I'm talking Facebook for Business. It's the leading social network. It has over 1.65 billion monthly active users worldwide, and 31 million in the UK. So just going back to the previous slide, I think we said 38 million people actively use social media. Second point down, well, 31 million of those are Facebook, or certainly use Facebook along with other things. The demographics are roughly the same, 49% male, 51% female. 60% of the UK population has a Facebook account. There's actually 26% of users are in the 25 to 34 age demographic. But most people that use Facebook, 76% of them visit the site every day. And over 2 million businesses use Facebook for advertising. That's enormous. So, and today, over the last 2 or 3 months, you can now stream live video and speak to your audience direct. So it's just getting bigger and better all the time. But remember the demographics. This is very popular, and the age profile of people that use this. Twitter demographics. So Twitter has about half, actually, 15 million active users in the UK, 400 million tweets sent every day. Majority of Twitter users are under the age of 34, and again an equal split pretty much between male and female. Over 80% of the 15 million use their mobile for Twitter. Mobile. So most people are on a mobile device. And then we've just got some numbers here. Tweets with images receive 18% more clicks than tweets without. Tweets that include links are 86% more likely to be retweeted. So that's 86% more likely to be retweeted. And tweets with hashtags get double the engagement. Okay, so those are all very important statistics to know. So have a look at the Instagram demographics. Instagram. Okay, so Instagram overtook Twitter last year in terms of global users. So Instagram is getting bigger. This is a forum for a much younger user. So with 90% of Instagram users being under 35. And this is getting more and more popular. Okay, so 51% of Instagram users are looking at their platforms every day, and 35% of them several times a day. And again, you can use video. LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, the professional network for professionals. 60 million views every month in the UK. 80% of business to business social media leads come from LinkedIn. 21% of users are under 35. So this is a much older, 79% being above 35. So this is an older social media forum. Getting bigger and bigger and bigger. All of you, as professional nutritional therapists, in my opinion, should be on LinkedIn. And this is the one sometimes I find that people aren't from the world of nutritional therapy. So, but this is very important because you can joint venture here, you can network on LinkedIn, and there's a lot of business to be had from being active on LinkedIn. Okay, have a look at this slide, Google Plus. Okay, Google Plus. Again, this is another one. So have a read of the points. Again, lots of percentages. You can see it's a successful social media strategy. And I think with Google Plus, as we get into more and more live streaming, as this is owned by YouTube, this is going to fill the gap for businesses looking to create videos. So it's probably a good thing for you to become aware of, get an understanding of, and just begin to perhaps plan and start to use Google Plus in a small way with a view to building it up, especially as we're going to be using this a lot more in the future for videos. Okay, so let's move on to something completely different. Joint ventures. I'm sure most of you have experience of joint ventures of one shape or form. I'm just talking to you here about some principles of good, successful joint venturing. So partnering with a private GP, surgery or clinic is a great thing to do. It's always worked, and for the people that I've worked with over the years, this always seems to be extremely successful. Partnering, joint venturing with gyms, so having a membership referral scheme. Very, very first time I did this, I actually did it on the basis that I wanted to introduce my clients to the gym rather than the other way around, and I introduced a fair few clients. So I met the gym manager, we struck up a relationship, I referred maybe 15 or 20 people, and then they started to cross-refer back and most importantly put up posters and literature within the gym for people that wanted my services. So it can be a place that can be very lucrative, and a joint venture that works very well both ways. Occupational health with local employers is another really good thing to look to do. The smaller companies have no occupational health schemes, so it's common and also very successful and sensible for a nutritional therapist to partner with perhaps a private G and perhaps a psychologist or a cross-functional team, and set up an occupational health scheme and offer it to employers, local employers that employ under a certain amount of people and don't have any health scheme in place. Schools are another good place to go with nutritional workshops. Lots of success had there. I want just to remind you that, and this is something I've learned over the years, only build relationships that add commercial value to your business, and don't waste your time with people that, I don't like the word time wasters, but people that are going to waste your time. Mix success with success. So I think the message there is, when you joint venture and you work with other people, make sure it's a relationship that works two ways, where you're getting what you need and want, and you're giving what they need and want. Otherwise you can end up in some funny situations where it's one-way traffic and you find that you're wasting your time. So be very mindful of that. Okay, top nutritional therapists do something that I call daily proactive income driving activity. They're very disciplined, they're very driven, and they're very focused. And every day they do a number of different things. And those tasks, the only criteria for what they are, they have to be what we call income driving. So they have to be driving the performance of the business, and this can be done for half an hour a day, 30 minutes. It can be done whatever suits you, however you feel about that, and fit it into your diary. But every day be doing something, and here's some examples for you. So aim to write 5 letters a week to private GPs. So 5 letters a week to anybody that you feel, in this case it's private GPs, that you feel you can build a value-adding relationship and take your business forward. Aim to arrange 1 free workshop per month. It's a great way of attracting new quality clients. Have a period every day to follow up on your previous week's letters and activity. Social media activity. Follow people, connect with people, find new businesses. Spend 30 minutes per week refreshing your website, as we talked about earlier. Google run a catch of your site every 2 weeks. They love education, so make sure you write 1 blog post fortnightly and put it on social media. Always be looking for other income channels, supplements, testing, products. And model week, design your model week. It's a very sensible thing to do, to have your week in front of you and plan out when your clinic sessions are going to be, when your proactive income driving activity is going to be. The new relationships that you're looking to build with local businesses every week, the letters that you're going to send. You can put the whole thing into a template called Model Week, and it organises the mind, helps you manage your time effectively, and make sure you get big on the big things, the things that are going to drive what you need into your business. Finding a mentor. Okay, so for those of you that can afford a mentor, it's good to have somebody that really knows their stuff and can help you take your business to the next level. So you might want to look for a mentor. And people tend to, when they do that, they tend to find people that they can build good rapport with, people that really know the market, know what they're doing, and add value to that particular business. Many people can't afford mentors, so I guess if we just think about the word mentor, in my experience, it's really good to buddy up with perhaps another colleague, a supervisor, somebody you know in another clinic, somebody you trust, so you can receive and give objective feedback to help you both deliver and improve performance and help each other achieve what you need to achieve. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a professional mentor, but just a presence of somebody giving you an external objective view around the things you're doing and the things you're not doing, with a view to motivating and inspiring you, putting you in contact with the right people, giving you focus and direction, giving you ideas that work. And the final one here, I've just made a point, you can pay for it or you can offer reciprocal swap of resources. The big thing in here, and it came up very recently, in quite a big way actually on a course, was that it can be very isolated working out there as a nutritional therapist on your own. And it's very healthy to get an objective view of what you're doing, get some feedback, have other people look at some of your ideas. So it's a great thing. I'd highly recommend that you swap, help each other out, and find perhaps another practitioner that can work very well with you. Okay, the lifeblood of any business, attracting and retaining quality clients. I always talk about the client journey because the client is king in my view. We have a responsibility to deliver the best we possibly can for our client, and sometimes the client may have spent years finding their way to your door. They may have tried lots of different things, and I think that feel very, very passionately about this. We have to respect and do the very, very best we can with our clients. So when you're sitting down with your client, it's not a bad thing just to think about how long their journey may have been to get to you. Okay, because what's extraordinary is that following some research, 78% of these clients wait 76 hours to have their phone call returned. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? So I would always encourage same day returns, whether it be email acknowledgement or a return call. And once the client has approached you, so once they're in your I don't know the best word, perhaps, in your sphere, in your space, you want to make the client yours, okay? Because we all need clients to survive, and we all need clients to run and keep running our practices successfully. So if the client is right for you, and if you believe you can help the client, and this is a relationship that's going to be very productive for the client, I think it's fair to use all of your tools that you have to secure them as a client, because if you don't, somebody else will. If you don't, somebody else will. So I think that part of the skill set is normally people that are very good at this. They have this skill set rehearsed to a T, and they're extremely authentic, very professional, but attracting the clients. Once they are engaged with them, they have a very good success rate in working very successfully with them. So the way we do that is we always offer a free telephone consultation, not a face-to-face consultation. We're saying here a free 20-minute consultation. That can be, it tends to be anything from 10 to 20 minutes. These are just some of the best practices, I think, to one, to help your client, and two, to do your very best to attract your client into your clinic. It's a free 20-minute consultation, 10 to 20-minute consultation, where you get to know each other, you build rapport, and you find out if you want to work with each other, and most importantly, what you can do to add value to that client. I don't think it's a bad thing to offer, the way this slide reads, offer genuine concern. I think perhaps empathy, sincerity, reassure the client that you can help them. I don't see enough of that, and I think that works really well. So yeah, we can most definitely help you. Assure the client you can help them. So many people don't do that in that 10-minute slot, and I think it does a lot for the client. Reassurance is really important. And step number 4, using reverse psychology. What we mean by that is when it comes to the point of you've had your 10 minutes, you want to try and appoint the client. And I've always found that nutritional therapists that will say, do you want to be seen immediately, or can you wait a couple of weeks, because we run a very busy clinic, tends to have a very good success rate in making an appointment on that 10-minute phone call. So I think it's a good thing to let your client know that you do run a very busy nutritional clinic, how quickly would they like to be seen, and then book them in there and then if possible. Okay, so what do you charge? Charging really gets to people. This is something that is always debated so many times. I guess it always will be. Many therapists find this difficult, okay? They really do. But think about your target market. If you don't charge what you should charge, your potential client will value you in the same way you do. So be sure that you charge by doing that competitor analysis, by looking at what people offer, by taking into consideration your degree qualifications, long-term qualifications, the investment you've made in yourself. I would encourage you to charge what you're worth. Don't be afraid. If you don't do that, and remember, ultimately you want to be available to help clients for as long as possible. If you don't charge what you're worth and you don't get clients into your private practice, then you won't have a business. So this is very, very, very important. And ensure that you are driving a minimum, as we said earlier, of one income driving activity per day. So, some best practice for charging. Again, lots of views on this, but this is just what I've found over the years to really work for people. So, a standard 4-session package. So, top nutritional therapists that are successful, that are busy, that are sustaining success for a number of years, these are the things they do. They have a standard 4-session package that will cost a certain amount of money, and that will be charged in advance. They'll also have between 2 and 5 specialist programs. So whatever their specialist program, whether that be Lyme disease, chronic fatigue, adrenal fatigue, weight loss, they'll always be running programs for those specific problems. All of them offer free consultations, and they all invoice in advance. Now this will, over a period of time, help you avoid one-offs, non-payers, no-shows, and it'll help you run a much healthier clinic where you're collecting premiums in advance, you're being niche with your programs, and you'll be differentiating yourself from your competitors through your charging. Okay, so where you don't want to be with your charging is right in the middle of everybody else. You need to have key, unique selling points, things that you do differently which support your charging structure. Okay, so the psychology behind success. We know successful practitioners think differently to unsuccessful practitioners. They really, really do. So I'd like you just to think about people you know and work with that perhaps aren't as successful as they could be, and think about the reoccurring dialogue you're always listening to. So successful practitioners, they really believe that they create their own results. They want to be good, they want to be the best, they want to be successful. They achieve what they want, they focus on the opportunities, and they most definitely charge what they're worth. Unsuccessful thinking, unsuccessful practitioners believe that success may happen to them. They strive not to be the worst. They'd like to be successful, but maybe they are going to be, maybe they're not. I'll just do my best and see how I get on. They're unclear about what they want. They focus on all the things that get in the way rather than how to deliver on the opportunity. And they charge what they think their clients will pay. So yeah, very, very different way of thinking, and it's reflected in the results. So I believe success is about two things. It's about the right balance of competence, so academia, skill, business acumen, and confidence, all the things that you can't see. So belief, values, and positive thinking. You can be the most confident practitioner in the world, but without the academia, you're not going to get anywhere, and you can be the most clever, qualified nutritional therapist in the world, but without the confidence, you're not going to get off first base. So success to me is the right balance of confidence and competence. And it's those things that you can't see, the values, the beliefs, the confidence, the self-value, the drive, that drives success. And it's this 50% that I call the difference that makes the difference. And it gives you a success blueprint. And that's why if we go right back to modelling, right at the beginning of this presentation, we look at the way successful people approach things, their levels of confidence, their mental approach, emotional approach, as well as the physical approach. And now you can see why. So these are the things that the success blueprint is: confidence, self-esteem, commitment, passion, values, beliefs and thoughts. All the things that you can't see. These things are paramount in driving the right mindset and the right success. And the way our minds work, the cognitive thinking cycle, they start with our thoughts, and most of you may well know this, impact on our feelings, impact on our actions, and impact on our results. So the thoughts are the starting place. The thoughts are the starting place. So if you can start changing your mindset to be extremely positive, driven, confident, and all the things we've just talked about, that's going to have a massive impact on how you feel and what you do, your behaviour, action and results. And it comes down to potential. So are you working at the high end of your potential, or are you not? Because we all have the same potential. The difference is that fear limits some people and not others. It's quite natural. We're all afraid of what we don't know. Fear stops a huge amount of people achieving their potential. Progress brings people alive. And the minute you start to see progress, you can gain momentum. And then when you really get going, you can actually create more action. And you're doing more things, you're becoming more resourceful, and you're getting and working towards the higher end of your potential. And here's the model. If you have a can-do attitude, I can do it, you're going to take action. You're going to do things because you feel right, you're driven, and you're going to see those results. And when you see those results and you start to deliver on things that you haven't seen before, it's going to reinforce your levels of confidence and belief, and you're going to feel better, do more, in turn unlocking your potential and enabling you to work at the high end of your potential rather than at the low end, which is where none of us really want to be. And finally, we just finish up on unlocking your potential and looking at a couple of examples. And some years ago now, I was fortunate enough to have dinner with Will Carling, and he was the first person ever to suggest that success was down to big confidence. In fact, his words at the time were, success is down to 90% confidence. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, that's I've never looked at it like that before, but that's absolutely right. Success is down to 90% confidence and belief. And we can highlight it in our own example when we look at Roger Bannister and his 4-minute mile. When he first achieved that record back in the 1950s, he had many attempts before he actually achieved it. Nobody had achieved it, and all of a sudden he did. I believe it was 1955. He successfully completed the 4-minute mile. And the following year, 33 more people also did the same. So belief plays a massive part in what we think we can and can't achieve. And just because he achieved it, 33% more people believe they could. Blockages often get in the way, and when they do, we need to work on them, set goals, take action, eradicate limiting beliefs, and move forward. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you've learned and enjoyed our hour together, and I wish you all the very best for your future success.